The very sad breaking news that the Titan submersible, which had been missing for 3 days down near the wreckage of the Titanic, sadly, it's now transpired, suffered a catastrophic implosion. We don't know exactly when that happened, but debris from the vessel was discovered at about 2:30 p.m. UK time this afternoon, just before 9 a.m. Eastern time in America. They discovered a series of items from the debris which were identifiable as coming from the Titan, including a nose cone, the front end of the pressure hull, the back end of the pressure hull, which made it clear this was indeed the missing vessel. And very sadly, that also meant that all 5 of the people on board had lost their lives. So a very sad end to a story which has gripped the world. I'm joined now by someone who knows all about the perils of the ocean, Rob O'Neill, the former Navy SEAL, who was on many missions, including, of course, he was the man who shot and killed Osama bin Laden. Rob, great to speak to you. What was your reaction when you first heard about what had happened here?
My initial reaction to this was because there was no last serious communications where they said, hey, we might have a minor issue, we're going to try this. There was an incident in 1963 with the USS Thresher in April of 63 where they were doing test dive to certain depths, and there's a design depth and a crush depth, and they were testing it. And one of the things they said, they were experiencing a leak, and they said, hey, we're going to try this on the phone that works in the water. And then the next communication was you can hear the metal clinking, meaning they got crushed. And the only good thing, if it's not good, but the only relief is that it happened so fast at those depths that you never know that it happened. But with this, it wasn't, I would hope it wasn't just a matter of it's either this or nothing. There's going to be a release of a buoy with some sort of a transponder that can pick you up or find you, and there's going to be communications. They stopped communicating, which means they got to a certain depth and then it just crushed them, which it's not a good situation no matter what. But if you're going to die doing something you love, something just exploring the way they were, which is how we get great inventions, I personally would rather it be to get crushed that quickly than to sit on the bottom and either run out of air or freeze to death. So, I mean, of all the worst case scenarios, that was the best worst case. And, these 5 people, you can read all the crap on the internet. They're doing something that these are innovators. This is how we get the good stuff. People like this do things like that, like the Wright brothers, just to explore different places. Like we know more about space than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. So, I mean, to me, these are trailblazers, and it's a tough day. I normally, Piers, like to talk to you under different circumstances. This is tough. It's nice that there's closure. It's nice that we don't wonder if they're out there suffering on the surface or down at the subsurface. But it's a tough day.
It's a very tough day, and you, more than most people, understand the inherent danger of the ocean as well as the excitement and the fun. It's dangerous, isn't it? And particularly when you're diving at great depth or going down in a vessel at great depth.
Even if you're not diving at great depths, there's so much science, there's so much physics and medicine that comes into going subsurface, because every 33 feet is 1 atmosphere of pressure, and you're dealing with everything like Boyle's law, how pressure and volume, they're different. And the further you go down breathing compressed gases, you can't come up too fast because you're dealing with all this stuff. The lowest I've ever been underwater while I was scuba diving was 150 feet, which is a 15-story building. That is dark down there, and it's scary down there. And the more you get into Mother Ocean, the more you realize that, yeah, she takes care of the planet, but she's unforgiving. And, just like a bullet, the ocean needs to be right one time. And that's all it takes. You need to have respect for the ocean. I love the ocean. The ocean is the reason we are who we are. And there's all, but it's everything from just, when you dip your toe in the ocean, you're now at the bottom of the food chain. There are predators in the ocean. There's dangers in the ocean. There's science in the ocean. There's dark and there's cold, which tells you about these 5 explorers. They were willing to, and they signed the waiver saying we're willing to do this.
Yes.
And that to me is just that. I think it'd be hard to put your signature on that line. And they had the guts to do that, let alone get in the sub and go down. So my hat's off to them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there were 3 warnings that you could die doing this, and they still all went down there, having signed
Yeah.
those waivers. And that takes incredible courage, whatever
It's
people
bravery.
think of it. And I think they are heroic for doing it. Rob, as always, it's great to talk to you. I wish it had been a happier ending to this story. It's a very sad day for anyone who's ever been involved in oceanography, and particularly, of course, history of the Titanic and everything that goes with that. So thank you very much.
Anytime. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.